from across the nation, the 36th state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our state youth leaders, 37 of them plus the FCT, the zonal youth leaders, 6 of them, myself, and various support groups such as VAT Vanguard, Project Beyond, Nature, Nigerian Youth Parliament, whose speaker is here, youth leaders from the Jagaban movement. We used to call it Jagaban Army, but they were trembled during the election. We changed the name to the Jagaban movement. Abat Media, Progressive Young Women's Forum, the Student Support Group, Persons Living with Disability, Lobito Group, City Boys Movement, the Progressive Forum, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Project Beyond, and others. We've all come here, first, Daddy, to appreciate you and to congratulate you formally for your success in the election, because you made the job easy for us by being a man of stellar performance, a man of result, a man of impact, by investing in yourself and investing in people for over 30 years. And so it was easy for us to go out there to market you to the Nigerian people during the last election because of the investment that you have also made before time. And to congratulate you that we were not let down, and to thank God on your behalf for the victory that we had in that election. It wasn't a rosy one. There were challenges. We were ostracized. We lost friends. We lost family members. We were abused. We were attacked. We were called names. I have a youth leader here from Gombe State that was shot in his community on election day because the opposition wanted to rig and he was trying to defend our vote. We all paid prices, both as state youth leaders, zonals, and even as youth stakeholders of the party in various support groups, including the PCC Youth Wing. And we thank the Almighty God that today we are all here to celebrate that we have been able, as youth of this party, to produce a president and commander-in-chief of Nigeria. I think it's worth celebrating. Mr. President, we also want to come to say a big thank you for what you have begun to do. They have called you Baba Go Fast for the remarkable impact that you have made from your swearing in. First announcing that subsidy is gone and putting Nigeria on the trajectory of progress and making tough decisions, which is what leadership is all about. If only the decisions that you have made in the last 60 days thereabout have been made in the last 60 years of our independence, Nigeria will be a better country than what it is today. The student loan that you have introduced in your first month in office, the food security initiative that you announced last week, the deregulation of the forex sector, which has now been what some would call maybe the floating of naira. Some have called it different names, but it's strictly deregulating the financial sector and forex. The impact, although is on a long term, but it is a decision that we believe will put Nigeria on the trajectory of change and progress and will help our country to rise to a level that we can be proud of. We want to thank you for your boldness and your courage. There's no doubt that that is why you are called the Lion of Bodilon, because you fear nothing or no one when it comes to doing the right thing for the Nigerian people. Your Excellency, we also want to thank you for carrying along some of our young people, including my brother and friend, Mr. Segun Dada, who is privileged to now be on your team here at the Villa. Segun has worked tirelessly for our party over the last 6-7 years from the Buhari administration, and it's a thing of joy to now have him here at the Villa working directly with the president that he joined and to produce. I want to thank you today for the appointment of my sister and my colleague on the NWC, Betta Edu, who has now been named Minister Designate, and Iman, 2 young women, young people who have been appointed as ministers in this Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think it's something we should be proud of. For those who don't know, Betta is under 40. And so it's a thing of joy for us. She's just above 35. So, by all rights, she's a young person herself. And to have a 36 years old lady as a minister in Nigeria today, we are very grateful, Mr. President. Mr. President, I also want to use the opportunity to thank who I will call the honorary youth leader, my brother, my childhood friend. Remember us playing together on the lawn of Marina, went to America, went to England, we kept in touch, and destiny brought us back together again, working together in the interest of Nigerian youth, my brother Bola Tinubu. Mr. President, thank you. Mr. President, I welcome here the Chief of Staff to the President, my own big Egbon, another city boy, Mr. Femi Gbaja, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. And of course, the Social Advisor Revenue, Egbon Sugar. It's good to have you join us, sir. It's another youth, yes. Mr. President, I must say something about the relationship that my brother Sheyi and I are forging and the importance of that. The women have the privilege of having a woman in the villa they can run to, which is the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in every state, they always have the First Lady to run to. I'm happy to also have as my brother and my friend, who grew up together. Many do not know that in Sheyi, that we can also say, if we need something done, I can also get his support to work with me. Mr. President, as I wrap up my gratitude and go to the next phase of my remark, I want to thank you. And I want to thank my governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for giving me the privilege, out of the over 10 million young people in Lagos, to sit on this chair as the national youth leader of the largest party in Sub-Saharan Africa. Your mentorship, both of you, your leadership, your guidance for me, has helped me steer the ship of the youth of our party. A challenging one. As you know, we young people are very boisterous. We have so much energy. There are things that the women would keep quiet about, but the youth, in small things, we get to spark. We have our moments, but we also have a way to come together and forge ahead to find better solutions. And the mentorship that you provided for me over the years have helped me to be able to steer the ship of the youth wing. And so, Mr. President, the second focus of our visit here, who have led my deputy youth leader, and all the youth leaders from the 36 states, is because of what Martin Luther King calls the fierce urgency of now. Mr. President, all of us in this room, we had what Winston Churchill called blood, tears, and sweat in the last election. We fought vigorously to ensure that we delivered our polling unit. They abused us, they insulted us. We went to the crooks and crannies. I, for example, single-handedly went to 33 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, leading rallies and going into grassroots on canoes, on road. And I can tell the stories of all of my youth leaders, for example, Jide Ofo in Anambra State, who had to risk the fact that he was in an hip-hop control state. And even the candidate of the Labour Party was from his state and defied all that to continue to mobilize for us. Many of them, even from across the Southwest, some of them will state without governors like Oyo State, River State, for example, and many others, ensuring that they deliver their polling units. Blood, sweat, and tears. And we have now come, based on the agitation of our young people across the country, to say we have worked.
You told us to vote for Asiwaju, we vote for Asiwaju. Don't forget us, carry us along. Every day, and I'm sure my other youth leaders, they even called me, leader, what is going on? They have started compiling names for board and parastatal. Why are you not fighting for us? What are you going to get for us? And I said, no problem. I will take you to the place where it is being done. Let us come and meet the commander-in-chief. Mr. President, a committee was set up to be chaired by my Egbon to look into that board composition. We note carefully that no young person is represented on that committee. And we are demanding, sir, that you kindly look into that and have a nomination of a male and a female. Not just any male and female, sir. Youth wing of the party. I will volunteer to serve alongside any female that would love to join us. It's my job as the leader of the youth of the party.
That's right.
To make sure that we can push for the interest. Because I went to 33 states personally, apart from traveling. And they came to us. And they will keep calling. So we would love to have representation on that committee to push so that we can go back to them in 2027 and say, but we did this back for you and we did this back for you. As I wrap up, sir, I also want to note that there are interventions and palliatives being introduced to ensure that the impact of this fuel subsidy is mitigated. We would also like to have young people across the country at the various levels of implementation, including some of our youths as focal persons in each of the states. We have the young people who have capacity, who have experience, who have the prerequisite qualification, and they will do very well. Just tell us what you need. We will bring the CV to you. Mr. President, in the manifesto, we promised young people the Presidential Youth Advisory Council. We would like to work with the Chief of Staff and with your office to sit together and look at how we can implement that and ensure that we have a very robust, representative Presidential Youth Advisory Council that carries everyone along, not just the technocrats, but also the young people who went to the nooks and crannies to fight for our party in the last election. Mr. President, finally we note that our young people form about 75% of our population. There are over 7,000 appointments in government, either boards, parastatals, agencies, and many other things across. We, as the youth of the party, are requesting that you kindly, as you begin to fill those positions, consider at least 15%. We're not going to be like the women asking for 35. At least 15%. And when we say young people, in particular the youth of the party, who are card-carrying members, so that in 2027, they can go back and proudly mobilize additional votes for us for your second term. I want to thank you, Daddy, again for seeing us, for carrying us along. We know and we are assuring Nigerians who are calling us every day that fuel is now 617 naira. We tell them it will always get very tight before it gets better. We trust and we have full confidence in the man on the steering. We know that he has the full intention to ensure that Nigeria is on the path of greatness. He's not after Nigeria's resources. He knows what to do, but he needs to ensure that it takes a decision that will give us long-term benefit and make Nigeria like America and put an end to Jackpot syndrome. Thank you, Daddy. God bless you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, GCFR, Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and other protocols duly observed. It is indeed a privilege for the youth wing of the APC to meet with you, Mr. President, despite the obvious tight schedule given the enormity of the responsibilities that come with steering the affairs of a country such as Nigeria and the entire West African sub-region. I would like to appreciate most sincerely my colleagues from the youth wing of the APC for giving me the opportunity to speak on the plight of young women in the Nigerian political space. Also, I would like to appreciate also the APC Progressive Young Women Forum for providing me and other young women across all 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, with a platform to contribute our quota to nation building. I would like to thank especially our leaders, brothers, strong and influential male allies in persons of Mr. Bola Tinubu, the figurative apple that did not fall far from the tree. And appreciation to Honorable Dayo Israel Abdullahi, the National Youth Leader of the All Progressive Congress. And appreciating as well Honorable Dada Olusegun, the Special Assistant to the President of Social Media Matters. I appreciate them so much for providing the right support and leadership to the youth. Sir, these gentlemen went all out to ensure that the young women of our party participated effectively before, during, and after the 2023 general elections. The outcome of such efforts is our engagement with Your Excellency today. They often take the initiative to bring young women to the table for discussions. I recall vividly their timely deployment of mobilization support to our young women foot soldiers, especially those at the grassroots. This is owing to the fact that they sensed a disenfranchisement and a gap in the political participation of young women, and they feel very passionately about our plight. Your Excellency, it is disheartening to note that at the women's wing, young women are not adequately represented, and this was the narrative in the past with our inclusion at the youth wing. I would like to remind us about the fact that the youth make up over 70% of Nigeria's population, and young women constitute a large proportion of this demography. Yet, we are faced with challenges such as gender bias and stereotypes, poor representation, financial barriers, poor access to political networks and resources, party bias, and internal party politics, low level of confidence, complicated by self-doubt among young women. Your Excellency, sir, addressing these challenges requires a multidimensional approach, strategies, such as policy changes that will translate to the creation of more opportunities and seats for young women within the party structure and within government space. Some of these strategies have been mentioned in the Renewed Hope Action Plan, precisely the Women Empowerment Chapter, with a rider, building the nation, tearing down barriers. The 5th paragraph states that, and I quote, "We shall not stop until women have an equal chance to enter and excel in all relevant aspects of our nation's social, economic, and political life." Your Excellency, before you are to us the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you are to us a father, and a father's natural instinct is first to protect his children, especially the vulnerable members of the family. I am confident that following your track record of genuine commitment to women inclusion in politics and governance, as demonstrated in Lagos State, and in the appointment of special advisors with a generous 40% women representation, and the recent nomination of 7 ministers, that Your Excellency will equally lend your voice to the plight of young women in politics. In light of this, Your Excellency, Mr. President, on behalf of all young women within the APC, I humbly appeal to Your Excellency to strongly consider an overall 15% inclusion of young women, and this is to be drawn from the youth quota and the 35% affirmative action for women inclusion in politics and governance. As stipulated in the Renewed Hope Action Plan, which is in alignment with the Beijing Declaration of 1999. The 15% inclusion of young women should be mainstreamed across all levels of government, the party structure at ward level, local government, state, regional, and zonal, and national levels. In the Presidential Advisory Council, as well as diplomatic engagements in this administration. On behalf of young women of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I would like to express my profound gratitude to Your Excellency for your attention, and God bless you, sir.
Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Chief of Staff, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, to other members of Advisory Council, to Mr. President, the APC National Youth Leaders, all the senior government officials here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am greatly honored and grateful to all the youths across the country, represented by you, the good and energetic members of our party. I want to say thank you very much for all the work you've done and you've been doing and you are still going to embark upon for our great party. I thank all the youths and the young women who are part and parcel of our struggle to bring prosperity to the country. It has been a very serious journey. God answered our prayer. He gave us this victory and honor to be here. I want to say thank you once again for all the work. To all of you, I made my pledge to the country that no decision will be difficult for the good and prosperity and unity of our country. I still stand by that pledge. So thank you, the leadership, both men and women, for the understanding that to reform is not going to be easy. But it's for a future. We can only be sure of today. But cast your mind back to your childhood. Once upon a time, you took baby steps to grow up, to become adult. And what you are today is a pride to all of us. Thank you. Plead the understanding that economic reform is very slow in some time. I can assure you that I understand your pains and the pains of your uncles, brothers, and your moms. I understand. I feel it. It is not easy. to get out a monster of over 40 years that is called subsidy. For few leaders, elites, fleecing Nigeria is not acceptable and will never be acceptable to us all. You've endured. You just need to persevere a little bit more. It's not going to be easy to make the changes necessary. But what we are going through today is saving for greatness tomorrow. Things that we cannot afford, we cannot engage in. We can't afford the subsidy. It is clear. It's meant for just a few elites. It's not beneficial to the generality and the greatest number of the people in this country. Sovereign, I'm ready to invest in your survey to look at the prices of gasoline in various other surrounding countries, be it Lome, Cameroon, Niger, and any other countries around us. Milking this elephant. We say the elephant is tired and is ready to have its life back. Our life is back. Our prosperity is coming. Our happiness is along the way. Thank you for all the efforts during the campaign. And thank you, please, I beg you to spread the understanding. Talk to your parents, uncles, and relatives that this president cares. Cares dearly for the economic benefit and welfare of this country. It is very difficult for people. Yes, I understand. I feel your pains. I feel their pains. But we have to go through this for us to survive the economic downturn. We survived the pandemic. Productivity had gone down. The economic value of the time and the money spent on pandemic alone is enough for recovery. But you're being through the currency conservation, and they call it swap. What is that? During an election time. Multiple exchange rate windows. It's for the arbitrage. It's for few to make quick wins over you, to make money for themselves, not for you. I could have chosen to partake in the benefit of round tripping and exchange rate. But I refuse it. God forbid. The fleecing of multi-billion dollars. What is the level of our reserve today? Where is accountability and transparency in all of that? We need just to persevere. Those days are gone, and I'm not going to lead you to go back into them for time and electoral time. I want to say thank you. I've listened to you. I've heard what to say. We have no time today. Plan another trip that we'll get back together. I'm dealing with ECOWAS and interference in our democratic process in Nigeria. Equally, talking to the American and Europe on bilateral basis, work and share together to foster and promote democracy. Just hold it tight. Your struggle will not be in vain. I assure you that the Youth Advisory Council will be there. Other requests about participation and what is necessary to help you in digital economy and curriculum, I will do. We will set up centers across the country to promote alternative economic empowerment and quality of life. Yes, people are anxious about the palliative. Palliative is not the solution. It's just a temporary relief. The long-term prospect of the nation and the benefit is for us to re-engineer the finances and the economy of our great country. That, I assure you, I will do. Yeah, alarmists, all the question of tuition fee will skyrocket and all of that. Just forget. We are going to take charge of that. We are going to look at it critically, and if necessary, executive order will come. We are going to give your parents, nieces, and uncles the necessary relief. We are going to set up equally a low-interest facilities through some of our lending institutions to give small businesses and micro businesses a support in cash at a very low interest rate. I'm going to support you. Your idea should not be kept to yourself. Bring the idea. I've told you and some of our leaders, it's an open door policy. And it's not limited because of who you are, where you're from, as long as you are in Nigeria. I've listened, I've heard you, young lady. Carefully. We are going to do everything possible to widen the net to accommodate some of it. I want to assure the leader that we have not taken any decision on those names submitted for board and parastatals. First of all, let's get the ministerial appointment in place, and you are adequately represented. If not, we are still coming to make you part of it. You are going to be part of our today because our tomorrow depends on you. So, Isaac, stand up. Is that not a youth? He's in charge of our revenue expansion, capable and competent, and he's doing a good job already. Many like that here. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is an adult youth. Chief of Staff, same thing. Abba. Let's take our baby steps so that we don't get bruises. We are going to survive the hardship. We are going to turn it into prosperity. This economy must grow for you, must be reformed for you, and serve you, because people are the sovereign, not money. I'm grateful. I assure you, we will consult over and over again. I say thank you very much. I still have United Nations calls and other. things. I would have loved to be here to listen to many of you more. But we can only see today. Tomorrow is in God Almighty's hand. So, continue the strength, continue the orchestra, let it be harmonious, let it be a good rhythm. Tomorrow is sure for prosperity. When we turn the bend, we'll be better off for it. Your hope is renewed. Thank you very much.